Welcome to Class 1 of what will be a series of classes on life extension. I am Bob Guth. I'm the author of 2 books on life extension. I am 81 years old. I work full-time at a major company, like many of you do. But I practice the traditional methods of the immortals and the modern practices of longevity. And you will be able to access all of my classes on my channel, my web channel. And so let us begin. I will show you what I do to create life extension, and I hope I can be of service and help other people extend their life as well. So one of the first things I'm going to say this over and over and over and keep on it, that your potential lifespan is 140 to 150 years, not a 90-year or 80-year lifespan that people think is the norm. But yeah, I can already hear the objections to that. You may say, nobody lives that long. I don't know anybody who's anywhere close to 140 or 150. However, I will say that I've heard this for 20 years now, that the potential lifespan is that long, that much. And there's a lot of literature out there on increasing lifespans, as we speak here. Many articles and books have come out on limiting beliefs. That's one of the main things that holds your lifespan back. And there are new medical treatments that have popped up to help people live longer. Just last year, I saw a presentation about a team, a research team, who were able to regrow an amputated frog's leg. First time in history. And if they can do that with frogs, they can probably do that with humans too. So there's a lot of new breakthroughs coming along here to help people live longer and healthier. Many humans are living longer. If you do a Google search on the longest lived peoples of the world, you'll find that there are 500 people over 110 now on the planet. There's some over 115, and so adding another 35 years is not a huge stretch for something like that when you're already 110 or 115. And there are said to be Taoist communities in China who live much longer than 140 years, practicing some of the ancient secrets that we'll show you. And others in the Himalayas and the Andes, followers of Babaji, the Himalayas. And I had a dream that told me that the human lifespan potential is 140 to 150 years, So for me, it's a given. And for you, it'll have to be something that you begin to incorporate little by little. Now, one of the things that's important in this is that you're going to have to fire your willpower to do it. You'll have to get excited about it. Really, you tend to do what you're excited about. And so, does it excite you to live a lot longer than people think is possible? Does it excite you to be a way shower on the new extreme longevity that's going to pop on the planet? It excites me, so I do it. I want to live a long time. And I like life. I do. I enjoy living. That's got to be something that, appeals to those of you who want to do it too. It's got to be something like more than just, oh yeah, it sounds cool. It's got to be something like, that's something I need to do. I'm hearing this guy talk about I can live 140 to 150 years, and really something I'm going to do too. That's what you have to be able to gravitate towards. Just a small little, hey, that's interesting, isn't going to get it. You're going to have to really want to really do it to put some energy behind it. There's some things you'll have to do to reach that goal. We'll talk about those. Okay, so really the first thing to start it off is your daily affirmations. And why is this important? Because you have a belief system that's embedded and linked to the mass conscious belief system on how long people can live. And what is that? It's in your insurance statistics. They'll say, well, about now it's around about 80 years, maybe 90. Some people's going to make it to 100, but everybody tends to buy into this, You ask somebody on the street how long they're going to live, and they'll basically pop into the mass consensus reality belief system about that idea. And so you have to begin to wean yourself away from this. And how do you do this? Your daily affirmations are the tool that works on this slice in time. And so you say something like this every morning. As soon as you get out of bed and your feet hit the floor. Every morning. I do this every morning. You say something like, I decree that I am going to extend my life. I am going to go for, and in my case, I'll pop in 140 to 150 years minimum. You should pick an age that you feel you can make. And don't pick something like 2,000 years because your belief system is going to throw that out the window. Pick something that's reasonable, that you could possibly make, but stretch it out there. Make it a challenge. And then I say, tack onto this affirmation, I am going to learn what life extenders need to do it. What is that? Then you have to listen to what the words say. What does it say? I decree I'm going to extend my life, So this guy says he's going to extend his life. Well, so that means that you're going to go after all of those things that are going to help you do that. It means you're going to cast away all those things that are going to stop it from happening. So listen to the words that you speak when you say your affirmation. It means that you plan on doing it, and so that means you're going to work at it. So anyway, that's the first thing you need to do. Say a daily affirmation. There's a whole bunch you can use. I've got maybe 40 affirmations in the 2 books that I've created, and you can use any of those or any other affirmation you can make up yourself, I also say another affirmation just to create a good day. And it's important to have a good day, because if you have a bad day today and another one tomorrow, another one the next day, you say, who wants to live that long? And that's part of the death urge, You need to be able to create days that work for you, work out for you. And so I always say a second affirmation that goes like this. Today is going to be a good day because I request MBO's most benevolent outcomes for all problems and situations that I may have to face and deal with this day. And guess what? They work. I've had so many amazing synchronicities when I started doing this about 2 years ago that my life is a good day every day, even at work. People are amazed. I'm amazed, actually. But it's something that's important to do. And so those things go together. All right. What's the next thing you need to do to extend your life? You start working with the life extension practices, and we just got through talking about your daily affirmations. It's got to be daily. And some would say, well, just say it once. And I would say, yes, if you lived in a scenario, civilization, where people expected that was a real potential. But since you live in a civilization where that's not something people expect as a real potential, I would say, because you tend to buy into their belief system, it's important to do this every day to make your own belief system. And along with this idea, I recommend getting into study a little bit about what's called fanaticism, because the fanatics make their reality happen. They make it real because you get fanatical about it. And so really, I would say be fanatical about your desire and drive and intention to extend your lifespan. But don't shout it out to the world, because the world's going to corral you in, quietly, and become a quiet, intensive, determined person who is going to do the life extension practices, etc., on a daily basis to change your belief system. That yes, it is possible. Change your belief system. That's really the key here. And then there's all kinds of other things that tie into this. Well, an important one is called developing higher consciousness. And that's a very large subject that we'll talk about and tackle as the sessions go on. Then begin to do the life extension meditations. There's quite a few of these meditations, and they can help you in many ways. One of them is to change your belief system. Another way is to begin to activate some tools that have been latent. It's important to begin to do some of these meditations and just or in the 2 books I've written. And then begin to incorporate some of the techniques of the ancients. Breathwork, daily breathwork, and fasting. And both of these may be a little bit strange to people hearing this, on a webcam, but they're part of the ancient tools and they work. People would say, but fasting, he wants me to fast now. Well, fasting is a very powerful cleansing tool, and it's something that should be looked at in a way that will help you live longer, really. The third thing that's very important is to learn to live without fearing disease. A lot of people fear disease as they get older and older. And this is one of the things that takes a toll on your lifespan, really. You need to have fun, regardless of how old you are. You need to be able to live without fearing disease. I don't fear disease. How do you do that? Well, one way is to have a very low-risk lifestyle for not getting any disease. So that's important. Another thing is to learn the symbolic nature of all diseases. Many diseases are here to give humanity a lesson. We'll talk about that, and that's not a simple subject to deal with, but it's an important one to deal with. And then learn how to heal. I know how to heal almost every disease that I've ever heard of, and or prevent it. And this is important. You really get into this deeper and deeper and deeper, and it becomes some second nature after a while. There's many levels to this too. And when you can do this, you say, why would I fear disease? I know how to heal them all, And then it's important to keep your body in healthy and in good shape. A healthy body fends off disease far easier than a body that's not healthy. And so these all tie together, But it's important to begin to learn to live without fearing disease. Fourth, I would say, it's important to move to a healthy diet that supports life extension. The standard American diet that one author has humorously coded as SAD is quite apropos and accurate. The SAD diet does contribute to many diseases, particularly diabetes and heart disease. You need to begin to wean yourself away from some of the problems that some of these sad foods create in the way of health problems. What's a better diet? Well, the Mediterranean diet is often mentioned, and I would say that's something to look at. People there seem to have a healthier body because of some of the foods that they eat on a regular basis. The best diet that I've ever found is what has been called the primal diet, meaning it's the diet that your ancestors followed, which is mostly raw food. Man did not start eating cooked foods until about 5,000 years ago. And so before 5,000 years ago, the food was always raw, and that's what our bodies are programmed for. Both of these two diets, the primal diet and the Mediterranean diet, are loaded with veggies, fruits, dairy, and they avoid processed foods like the plague, The best diet, I think, is my own variation of the primal diet, which is raw veggies. I tend to prefer salad these days, but they're pretty hearty salads. They're not, your wimpy salad. Raw dairy, and raw dairy is going to be hard to get for a lot of people, even in USA here, because only about 15 states have legalized it. You can get raw dairy, though. It's unpasteurized from a lot of dairy farms who offer what's called cow share programs. You'll have to do some search to find them, but they're available in most every state in the USA. Raw eggs, and I can hear people already getting squeamish on raw eggs. What, not cooked? Yeah, not cooked. Raw eggs. How do you eat them? Well, one way is make a raw egg eggnog. Quite delicious, actually. Raw egg eggnog with any fruit you like. Unpasteurized milk, if you can get it. Unheated honey. All the honeys in the stores, supermarkets have been heated, so they'll never crystallize, and this creates a problem food. high load, it's a high sugar load. It has to be unheated. Where do I get unheated honey? From the farmers markets in my area. And you can probably get unheated honey from farmers markets in your area, or you may have to go out of your way, but it's worth it. And then you have unsalted and unheated nuts and seeds. Heating any nut or seed creates cooked fat, and that's problematical. You should have unheated nuts and seeds. Also, salting nuts and seeds creates a high salt consumption, and this does tend to create a high blood pressure, and you don't want that. So your nuts and seeds should be unheated and unsalted. Cooked starches are the main exception to starches and legumes. That's potatoes, rice, breads products, and beans and peas are the main exception to the raw food diet, because cooked starches are better absorbed when they're cooked. All right, the fifth, it's important to get rid of your death urge. Make life fun, enjoyable, and creative. You know, I do a lot of things that are highly creative and challenging. I'm writing a third book now, starting this YouTube channel. I'm creating devices for assisting human tissue regeneration. And these are fun and creative and consuming, and they make my life fun and purposeful and meaningful. And that's what you need. You need to have a life that has a purpose. And there's so many things that need to change on the planet. There's enough purposes to go around. We've had such huge changes during the COVID regarding race problems that need to change, and the inequities basically of income levels that need to change. All kinds of more evolved scenarios need to happen to replace less evolved things that we've lived with for so long. So it's important to get rid of your death urge, to make life fun and enjoyable, because the death urge kills a lot of people. And particularly when you get older, people get older and say, I'm so old, nobody wants me anymore. Why should I hang around? Well, you need to find a reason that you can give others the gift that you've been given, and make life purposeful, and that you need to hang around. That's part of it. All right, 6, develop a life extension mindset. And this is one of the real keys here. You need to begin to expect that you're going to do it. You need to develop a life extender's mindset. And I would say that I've developed that now. I'm around people at work who have the standard belief system of how long they're going to live after retirement, etc. But to me, that just floats in one ear out the other ear, because that's not me. I'm going to extend my life. They can do what they want with their life, but I'm going to extend my life, and that's what I call a life extender's mindset. Deep in your mind, you begin to see a life extender's mindset emerge and develop after you do the affirmations, after you make some of the changes that we've been talking about. Deep in your mind, you begin to expect it. When you expect it, you don't say, well, I got to get out of here at my workplace at early retirement at 55. You don't do that. You say, I'm going to need the money. I'm going to hang around longer than people usually do. And so I'm not going to plan on early retirement. And retirement from what? If you retire from your job, you've got other work to do that you need to have a purpose in your life for. So it's all part of developing a life extension mindset. Deep in your mind, you begin to get rid of everything that's going to prevent that. When you want to live longer, you don't let the things that are going to stop that be part of your life. Deep in your mind, you're going to add more life extension practices. It just becomes kind of a thing that gets momentum going and continues. You want to do it. You want to add those things that are going to help you do it. So 7th, you're going to develop higher consciousness. This is a very large subject and important subject, and it's kind of complicated. What is higher consciousness? It has really to do, in the case of dealing with life extension issues, developing the higher consciousness thoughts and emotions of love, compassion, happiness, be happier in life, joy, these all foster and increase your lifespan. Low consciousness thoughts and emotions of hate, resentment, worry, fear take a toll on your health, and they shorten your lifespan. There's so much more to this, and we'll have time to talk about it in many other classes, but for right now, this is the basic idea of the beginning steps to developing higher consciousness. Eighth, do the life extension meditation exercises. There's many of these exercises in the 2 books that I've written, and these will tend to avoid out some of the causes of aging. There are life extension meditations on stem cell activation. Believe it or not, some of the ancient masters who were able to live many hundreds of years were able to kick in their stem cells to replace old aging cells through their higher consciousness. And the consciousness level today is so low that this isn't possible. But as you begin to work on these, and we have meditations in the books that I've written, you can begin to start activating your stem cells to replace your old aging cells. And there's a aging clock and death hormone release that is not widely known, but it is what is important in the aging issue, because it creates aging to happen all around the planet at about age 35. When this aging clock clicks, strikes the hour, at age 35, it says now it's time to release that death hormone, and this begins to start. And even your medical science has discovered this. This death hormone exists, and they know what gene creates it. And there's actually research going on, and rejuvenation process is being developed to stop this, But you can begin to stop this with some of the meditations that we have offered in the books that are out there that I've written. Another aspect that doesn't get much publicity, the cause of aging, is soul fragments. The soul exists in every cell of your body in the DNA. And there's literature that says it exists in layer number 9 of your DNA, which has 12 layers. The other 11 are interdimensional and not observable in instruments. Only layer 1 is observable. Nonetheless, the soul is said to exist in layer number 9, and it exists in what's called a high frequency, and it cannot handle low frequency of fear, or great disappointment, or great sadness. When those become preponderant emotional patterns, emotional states, some of the soul fragments off and flies into nature. Now, when this happens, you begin to lose some of your energy of your major organs, and when they dry up, they begin to dry up, they cause aging. And you can actually see this in some people who've had very harsh lives. You can see the aging caused by soul loss, which, this is an important thing to work on. Can you recover some soul fragment loss? Yes, you can. There are meditations, and we're going to do some as we go along on this. So that's another thing that is an exercise that can be done to help restore some lost aging or some aging. Blocking bad memories from constantly resurfacing. This is an important one, and the bad memories tend to block new cell regeneration. Interesting subject, really, but we can block these memories from constantly resurfacing, and that's another important thing that we're going to be working on. And then I would say one of the more important things to do to work on for life extension is to learn the ways of the future human who already does live 200 years. That's why it's important. When we can learn how they have formulated the life that they're living 200 years in our future, And we have futurists who begin to look at this and probe this and tell us what they do. And so I will be going over this as time goes on in more other classes. And so it's important to begin to think about how we can learn the ways of the future human who already do live 200 years. We're talking about, maybe the year 2022, 200 years from now.